Hola, buenos días, soy Nico.
It's your girl back at it again, and guess what I'm doing today? I am complaining. Yes, I am
And today we're here to finish off another wonderful week's worth of content. Well, yes, I'm sorry in advance if I seem a little off. My ADHD medication has been upped. So I'm trying to get accustomed to the new dosage, so please bear with me. But now that we've gotten that out of the way, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive videos, weekly live streams, and to be a part of the live streams where we have multifaceted conversations with a varied panel depending on the week. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in. And last video's comment was basically over the ex-mannequin situation. He actually just commented on that video, so I pinned it so that y'all can see his response. I'm gonna start doing that for performers. If I make a video about you and you want to publicly comment, I'll just pin it on the video so you can clarify any mistakes or anything that happened. And he basically said, as a black gay man, I don't understand why people randomly become pygmishas. Like, why do you randomly come out and want white validation and or validation from another group, so you begin to beg online? And I feel like there's levels to it, as in I feel like it's usually like a boiling point, like a tipping point, as in it slowly starts to eat at you, it slowly starts to eat at you, it slowly starts to eat at you. The rejection, be it on apps, be it in person, be it collaborations, and eventually you're just like, I just want to talk about this to somebody. But in those scenarios, I usually tell people it's probably best that you just communicate this with a close friend and or your family. Just vent to somebody that you can actually trust. Coming to social media and venting out your feelings, whether they be genuine and or obtuse, it never usually ends well. But with that being said, let's get on to the actual video. Today, bring back our men, bring back our tops. And it's so funny because I actually did this exact same thing about this exact same person like a year ago. So this video is actually going to be about Fame. If you don't know who Fame is, he is a fairly popular content creator in the Black super happy adult fun time category. He is a big zit top and he knows how to put it down. I'm not going to lie, I've actually seen a few films from Fame as of recently, and I was pleasantly surprised. Nico, he be putting it down way too much for me, but he be putting it down. So essentially, I've covered Fame a few times in the past. Once was when he did a TikTok trend, and people began to berate him, saying that he is not masculine enough because he is dancing, that he's not a real top because he had the nerve to do what every other person on TikTok was doing at the moment, which was dancing, I believe, in a grocery store. Then the entire situation came out with Knockout and Kai Levine, where Kai Levine and Fame were going back and forth with Knockout online about Knockout claiming he had topped both of them, that they were pounds, that they were really pounds. And I'm just sitting here like, the fact that bottoming is still such a controversial topic in 2025 is a bit hilarious. So if you did not know, Fame, who has only done topping scenes in the past, has recently debuted his first verse scene with the Raheem Shabazz. Nico, if you do not know, I think it's a series at this point. Raheem has this series where he basically becomes every total top's top, essentially. Kind of like the Take Him Down series from Tiger Tyson, where he basically topped all the total tops in the industry back in like the 05, 010 era. So he's receiving pushback that every top has in the past. And what I want to say is I'm finally starting to see why y'all are so upset about tops deciding to become verse and or exploring themselves sexually. Is because you want to be the girl. Nico, you want to be the girl so bad. And let me clarify this in like a deeper explanation than just a vague statement like that. Basically, I've begun to understand that, especially when bottoms, because a lot of people did bring up the point that it's usually bottoms that bottom shame other people for trying to bottom. It's because a lot of people in our community relegate sexual roles such as top and bottom to the gender equivalent in heterosexual relationships, basically trying to adhere to heteronormativity. So a lot of people believe that bottoms are women and that tops are men. And when you become verse and or experiment, it throws a monkey wrench into the entire equation. basically putting you in this strange in between. Because in the past, I have met tops that when I told them I'm verse, they're like, okay, well, you're a bottom. So they try to make me bottom, even though I am preferably a verse top. If you've seen my films, I bottom sometimes, but I'm majority top. When I do bottom, it is not the best because I don't bottom in my free time. But when bottoms hear that you have bottomed before, or even if you like to get the cookies ate sometimes, it is a disrespect. I saw comments saying, bring back our real men, all the tops are gone. I saw comments saying that when my top told me that he was in his bottom era, I dropped him immediately because what do you mean you're bottoming? It is because y'all trying to play pretend and make a heterosexual relationship out of two men. So that's why so many bottoms are so disgusted and revolted by someone who is a total dom top and or someone that they have fantasized about actually experimenting with both being top and bottom. And what I always tell people is you shouldn't necessarily be shocked even if people come online and have this super dom total top persona. Being a content creator is literally selling a fantasy, but also exploring not only yourself but others sexually. So to expect somebody whose entire career is to be explorative and try to become better at super happy adult fun time, whether it be as a receiver or a giver, why are you surprised that they have tried different positions? Because we've seen it time and time again. I remember when we had this conversation when they got into it, when I said total tops in the industry have been exposed for bottoming before, such as Mr. Bolden. When Jay Knight originally, allegedly, leaked the video of Mr. Bolden bottoming for him, he said, I'm not a bottom, I've never bottomed, that's a lie, and da 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 da. Now he's dropping verse scenes left and right. We can look at Kyle Levine, who said that he was also not a bottom and that he would never, and then a content creator leaked his video of him bottoming. And then he made his Raheem bottoming debut and he began to do verse scenes. We can look at Yardy Style, who is a total dom, aggressive, masculine top on camera, but every time you look at his videos, he blurs out his hole because he bottoms off camera. I don't understand why y'all all act so surprised. That's why when I tell people, there is rarely a total top, meaning even in life, you will try and experiment. Sometimes you don't like it and it's not for you. That's perfectly fine. But when it comes to experimentation, you won't know if you like something until you try it. And that's not me telling y'all to convert to verse agenda. This is not me pushing the mind tricks and trying to get you to explore. I'm just saying, as human beings, growing up and expanding both your sexual preferences and what you enjoy to do outside of these super happy adult fun time encounters, it's okay to try something and figure out, oh, that's not for me. Oh, that was uncomfortable. Oh, maybe I just had a passing fancy. So in this situation, once again, am I surprised that Fame has bottomed before? No, because there was controversy about it in the past. Am I surprised that he made his debut at Raheem? Not necessarily, because this has become Raheem's like side series, but also, why is it so detrimental that someone that you were never going to meet, someone that you fantasized because of their prowess in the bedroom, decided to experiment with a different form of sexual exploration, especially if they still have said prowess in the bedroom that made you follow and admire them in the beginning? But with that being said, I'll leave the conversation up to y'all, because at this point, I don't know how many times I can play gagged and surprised that people that I know are bottoming are exposed for bottoming. But at the same time, what are your opinions on tops and bottoms trying to take on the heteronormative role of man and woman and being upset when someone crosses that boundary? Because people always say, well, you sold me the dom hypermasculine top image, how could you bottom? How could you do this to me and we've never met before? And I'm just sitting here like, girl, you really want to be the girl. But that's the thing. Well, as gay men, as bisexual men, as queer men, you have to unprogram yourself from heteronormativity because you are both men. You both have the same parts. You both have the same capabilities to do what each other are doing. But with that being said, I'll leave the conversation up to y'all and I'll see you guys next time. Boom. And now for a brief yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye Tier subscribers, Tevin and Benjamin. Your continued support is greatly appreciated, and thank you once again to everyone who supports the channel. We're almost at 43K girlies. This week's live stream discussion will actually be the watch party. So we ironed out all the kinks, we voted on the movie. We will be watching B-Boy Blues. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in. Fans, adult cinematography, super happy fun time. Film. He is a fairly popular performer in the literally because y'all are trying to pretend play heteronormative. It is because y'all disgusted and revolted